Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you to talk at HSM. My name is Ali Chauhan, and I've got a very distinguished guest with me today. He's a person who has done a lot of good work in the field of medicine and is also associated with the field of medicine and also with the pathology labs. And so I'm going to introduce you to Omar Chughtai. He is the Director of Operations at Chughtai Lab. Omar, welcome to Talk at HSM.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
First of all, I would just like to give us a little intro about yourself and your academic journey.
Like you, I went to HSN College, and then I went to Government College for FSc, and after that I was at King Edward for Medical College. After graduation, I went to the US. I did my board certifications and fellowship in pathology. And then in 2007, I moved back to Pakistan and joined Chughtai Lab.
So, a little bit about after you joined Chughtai Lab, how have you found मतलब कि यहाँ का जो business model है, I mean, I've been to America, I've studied there, worked there. तो ये जो business model है, इसमें जब आप वापस आए, तो what did you see? कि what's the difference from abroad? Number one. Number two, what have you done to adapt and also to make this a better system?
I think business fundamentally is the same anywhere in the world.
Okay.
If you want to succeed, you have to solve a problem.
Okay.
A problem that your potential customers or patients are facing. In our case, for instance, the problem is it's hard to find a reliable, repeatable, accessible healthcare, particularly diagnostic care. So, जब तक diagnosis सही नहीं होगा तो treatment सही नहीं हो सकता.
Good.
So that's the problem that we were in the process of solving. My father started this lab in 1983, so I grew up with it, and it was always my aspiration to work with him. So he said, if you want to work with me, you have to become a proper professional first.
Okay.
And I said, sure. And he said, तो मैंने कहा जी मैं graduate कर गया हूँ medical college, so I can join you now. He said, no, if you want to run a pathology lab, you have to be a pathologist.
Okay.
I said, okay. And then he said, you have to be a pathologist where nobody knows me. ताकि ये ना हो कि मेरे नाम की वजह से
हुआ. That's a good principle.
He said, I want to be Dr. Chughtai's father. I don't want you to be Dr. Chughtai's son.
That is a beautiful statement. Yes. I really like it.
Yes.
I think that's something that our students and the viewers should remember.
Yeah.
कि instead of a father के नाम से आप पहचाने जाएं, father को चाहिए कि हो जाता है कि मैं कहूँ कि मैं इनका बाप हूँ.
Yes.
माशाल्लाह.
Yes, and thankfully फिर जब when I was in my residency and fellowship, when he would visit, I would introduce him to my professors. So then, they would know him as
the father
Dr. Omar Chughtai's father. So that was a very wonderful feeling. But then, of course, mashallah, he has done a lot of work in Pakistan for many, many years. Ab Chughtai Lab ko 40 saal ho gaye this year actually. So when I came back, तो बहुत सारा काम अच्छा already हो रहा था. And then you add a few systems, and then you, I think you scale up a little bit. And then you introduce, जिस तरह मैं अभी बात कर रहे थे, you introduce a little bit more technology to enable easier access and convenience, and then the rest is history.
So, I mean, that's kind of was my second question, and you answered it. Was that how did you join Chughtai Labs?
Yeah.
तो वो हो गया. तो for आपका बड़ा एक इंटरेस्टिंग हो आपकी बात में से मैं एक बात निकालूँ कि हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम में या हेल्थ प्रोवाइडर के लिए डायग्नोस्टिक्स का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. डायग्नोस्टिक एनालिसिस जिसे कहते हैं. डायग्नोज करना, उसके लिए पैथोलॉजी के थ्रू टेस्ट एंड ऑल दैट. एंड आई सी दिस कि इन आवर सोसाइटी अब हुआ है इन द पास्ट, लेट मी से इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग 10 years और समथिंग, कि एवरीबडी काइंड ऑफ फर्स्ट सेज कि ये टेस्ट करा के लाएं.
जी.
Am I right? The trend has become, because पहले डॉक्टर वो नब्ज पकड़ कर बता देना कि ये मर्ज है.
Yes, पहले इस चीज़ को सेलिब्रेट किया जाता था कि वो डॉक्टर साहब जो हैं वो नब्ज पकड़ के ही बता देते हैं कि क्या है. और आज भी
बहुत
है और बहुत सारे लोग उसको भी सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, अभी भी अप्रिशिएट करते हैं. बट एट द सेम टाइम देयर इज़ अ लॉट मोर टेंडेंसी टू गेट क्वान्टिफाइबल इंफॉर्मेशन कि इस वक्त क्या सिचुएशन है और फिर ट्रीटमेंट दिया है तो अब क्या सिचुएशन है, ट्रीटमेंट के स्टार्ट करने के 3 महीने बाद क्या सिचुएशन है. सो इट्स नॉट जस्ट डायग्नोसिस, इट्स ऑल्सो मॉनिटरिंग.
तो ये फ्रॉम दिस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू एज ये तो हो गया कि आपकी जो नेचर ऑफ द बिजनेस पे बात हुई है. तो जब आप व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट a graduate, a fresh graduate who has just finished his bachelor's. It could be in management, marketing, supply chain, or it could be in the health sciences. So, if they want to get involved with an organization of your size, so what should the aim to be? मतलब उनकी जो aspiration होनी वो क्या होना चाहिए कि what is needed or what do you look for in a fresh graduate? Let's say if your company is hiring. I mean, I know all of them are not going to be pathologists. You need management also.
No, but I think before anything else, we look for integrity, honesty.
Okay.
And then the other thing is curiosity.
Okay, I like that. ठीक है.
If you're willing to admit that you don't know anything, because the more you find out, the more you realize that you don't really know anything.
That's true.
So
That's true.
if you're willing to admit that कि आपको नहीं मालूम, but you're willing to discover, learn, and maybe even ask, but ask at the end. First, try yourself.
First try.
And but before that, integrity matters. Honesty matters a great deal.
That is a very, very, very unique point, and I think that at UMT, I've been teaching here for 11 years, and I always say to them, and a lot of my colleagues also, we do this collectively, कि अपने आप से झूठ बोलना छोड़ दें. Or you know, the first thing that the questions asked to me is, "Sir, ये कैसे मतलब? What do you mean by that?" And that is being honest to yourself. And I know that we are living in a world. I mean, nobody is an angel. So मैंने कहा it's a struggle. It's something that you do, and I think I'm glad that you pointed it out. Coming from you, it tells me that a person who is sitting at this position in an esteemed organization is looking for this. Okay, we want honest people who have integrity, the people who have character, or inquisitivity, curiosity.
Yes.
I think that's your answer. Is it comes to my next question कि जब आप किसी से ये कहते हैं तो मुझे कई लोगों ने आगे से because I'm dealing with the young generation on a day-to-day basis तो उन्होंने कहा कि जी सर मैंने कहा यार it's not about being 100%, it's about the struggle, striving to be there.
Yes.
And I think that shows in when you guys are hiring in the industry. You're not looking for angels also. You're looking for a person who is...
Absolutely. I mean, look, every human being makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Every day. मेरे ख्याल से सुबह उठने से लेके आपके साथ मुलाकात तक 10 गलतियां मैं कर चुका हूँ already.
मैं 20 कर चुका हूँगा.
So, but if you're willing to acknowledge that, admit that and learn from that, तो तभी बात बनेगी ना. अगर आप कहें कि नहीं मैंने तो कोई गलत काम किया ही नहीं, मैंने तो गलती की ही नहीं, कर ही नहीं सकता.
So that's a different thing. Changing a little bit. What is your advice for, because a lot of us at UMT in the past, let's say since COVID, after COVID, what we have done is that a lot of us in HSM are going towards entrepreneurial efforts, and we have done is we have monetized our projects.
Okay.
We have actually monetized them. I mean, 2-3 हम हैं और we have basically said it's not a policy, but it's more like an activity that we have done. Projects तो करते थे बच्चे.
Yes.
हमने उनको monetize किया है. Okay, bring me. This is the bracket. This is your weeks. Do something. Give me anything. Give me any legal project that you bring up, and let me see you make the money. What is your advice for small and medium startups or something? What do you think?
First of all, I think I really appreciate जो आप कर रहे हैं, because जिस size के हम हो गए हैं as a nation, अब हम अपनी खुद ही job creation करेंगे तो बात बनेगी.
There you go, very nice.
अब इतनी companies नहीं exist करती कि सारे लोगों को
नहीं hiring आप कर ही नहीं सकते hire इतने graduates को.
तो ये तो it will have to be a revolution in small and medium enterprise, which will then not just sustain us but propel us towards a better future. So uske liye I think this entrepreneurial mindset is very important. The thing to remember is कि कोई भी business overnight success नहीं होता.
Now that is a point that maybe the generation that we are dealing with, which is the younger generation, wants that quick satisfaction, quick gratification.
And they can't be blamed, because when they want to see TV, they have Netflix. When they want, or YouTube, when they want to eat, they can order Food Panda or whatever. So
30 minutes, 20
yes,
minutes.
Right? We had to wait for our cartoons. Right? तो हमें
Okay, don't let the people know we're that old, but still, yes, we did.
तो हमें तो
टाइम होता था
टाइम
कितने
लगता
बजे
था,
लगना
बिल्कुल शाम के 5 बजे जब टीवी स्टार्ट होगा तो उसके बाद फिर एक छोटा सा कार्टून आएगा और कभी कभार वो पीटीवी वाले अंकल खा जाते थे उसको, तो हम परेशान होते थे कि हमारा कार्टून आया नहीं, दूसरा शो शुरू हो
नहीं
गया.
अब तो किसी टाइम पे भी, I mean, I think you're born with an iPhone in your hand.
Yes. So you can't blame them, but that doesn't mean that the fundamentals of business have changed. If it takes Amazon 10 years to turn a profit, if it takes Elon Musk 10 years to build Tesla into something, or SpaceX into something, and many times you come very close to bankruptcy.
Oof.
SpaceX was one rocket not landing away from being bankrupt, and so same with Apple. So ये जो I think उसके लिए जो है ना grit, the ability to stick to it,
right, not giving up
and keep at it.
Keep at it. Yes.
That's what matters. Time spent cumulatively on a project is really a very crucial indicator, I think, of long-term success. So you have time multiplied by effort.
It's going to give you the results that you're looking for. Good. Anyway, I had a couple of more questions, but I'm going to combine a couple of my questions. जब हम marketing की बात करते हैं, just going towards the market side, तो what was your approach towards the marketing? I mean, कोई model था जिसको आप देखें, कोई चुगताई लैब एकदम से आई है.
Yeah.
It came on the horizon and it was everywhere, and then I think I got an app actually in my phone. I've got my number. I want to do anything, I call them up. They come to my home. But it's a facility, and especially for people above 50 or 60, it's a great facility. Somebody comes home. वो एक दूसरा ये भी है कि उसके अंदर the tendency of it being contaminated और वो कम है. हमने एक दफ़ा शिकायत भी की, मैं वैसे आपसे शेयर कर रहा हूँ, एंड दे एड्रेस्ड इट कि जी हमें लगा कि जो आया है वो सही नहीं है, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है कि पता नहीं कैसे करेगा. तो आई थिंक दैट इज़ वन थिंग. तो आई एम जस्ट गोना से कि हाउ यू लुक एट इट, कि मार्केटिंग का कौन सा मॉडल या कौन सी ऐसी अप्रोच आपने यूज़ की एज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन?
आई थिंक particularly in healthcare, I think and perhaps in every sector, at the heart of it all is a really solid product. Okay. If it doesn't work, you can market all day, it won't work.
Okay.
And the product or service, it has to be consistent. It can't be कि आपका सैंपल आया तो मैं सर पे खड़े होकर करवा रहा हूँ तो बहुत अच्छा सही तरीके से तसल्ली बख्श रिजल्ट आ गया है.
तो बोर्ड होगा.
Yeah, it has to be consistent.
The service has to be consistently being delivered.
So people shouldn't have to call me कि sampling जल्दी करवा दें. It should be automatic for everybody, right? So I think our fundamental approach to all of that primarily was focusing on that, the service and the product, to have consistency in it. And
so every lab is owned by you, or is it franchise or whatever? Okay.
They used to be franchises.
That's okay. The model
we bought them back.
Oh, you got them back.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Why? I mean, if I may ask.
Again, consistency in the service.
So, in the current environment, let's go and last couple of questions. In the current environment, you look at the industry and look at the economic situation and the socio-political equation. So how are you doing risk assessment as to what is happening? What is your strategizing? I'm not asking you to give me the secrets, but I'm saying from an academic point of view, I'm asking, because we do talk to them about how do you do risk assessment? How do you prepare yourself for challenges? Political instability is there, economic instability is there. So they're like, how can we start? How can we do something? And it is something like more like an advice or your approach as an organization.
जब आप entrepreneur होते हैं या बनना चाहते हैं तो एक basic requirement है उसके लिए कि you have to be fundamentally optimistic.
Fundamentally optimistic. Okay, good.
Because if you're not,
then you won't be able to do it.
But then at the first road bump, you'll
You're
say,
gonna be like
यार
giving
ये
up.
तो नहीं हो सकता,
Yes, हाँ, ये नहीं हो
ये नहीं हो, मैं नहीं कर सकता ये.
Optimism is one of the points.
Optimism is an essential ingredient to be an entrepreneur, and sometimes almost silly optimism, but optimism
For
is
sure.
required. हमारे मुल्क में तो you have to have
You have to have
silly
that
level of optimism.
strong will.
But I also think my father always says this, and I agree with him. I've come to agree with him even more over time. अमेरिका को बड़े लोग कहते हैं land of opportunity, but he says he claims कि actual land of opportunity is Pakistan.
Actual land of opportunity is Pakistan.
Because देखें आप अमेरिका में तो सारा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बन गया है, सारा कुछ हो गया है.
This is where we need it.
यहाँ
This
पे
is
तो
where it has to be done.
यहाँ पे तो होने वाला है, हर काम होने वाला है यहाँ पे. यहाँ पे आप and if you think about it, solopreneurship बहुत ज़्यादा है. यहाँ पे आप सफाई का काम ले लें. मैं अभी आपके यूनिवर्सिटी के पास आ रहा था. There's dozens of hostels.
हाँ, यहाँ पे
Right? So you've spawned an ecosystem of entrepreneurship just by being here, right?
Right. One of our students started this
Yes.
thing, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago.
A very smart student.
He's good now. He's studying somewhere.
But the requirement is unmet, I'm sure.
It is not. It is not. It is not up to the mark.
So,
Yep.
So काम तो बहुत सारे हैं करने को पाकिस्तान में.
So, just to wrap up our talk today, I think a few-liner message to the students and also for the future entrepreneurs that are the people who want to get into the business in their own businesses. What would you say on close-up?
I think there is nothing like running your own business. There is no comparison to it, but it's a mindset. It means those who have not run it think that it's the easiest thing in the world. It's not. लेकिन अगर आपने सारा दिन काम करना है और at the end थकना नहीं है, तो फिर आप अपना काम करें.
Thank you, Umar, for coming and joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Talk at HSM. It was really informative. And it was a pleasure meeting you. I hope that from this talk, our students learned something. And that is the intention of these talks that we're having.